So switching gears a bit, you have that pro travel tips, pro trip tips, and travel safety 2.0 coming out. You also run gutterfightingsecrets.com. You said it's kind of a labor of love right now, but in terms of marketing, I think Gutter Fighting Secrets is pretty brilliant. It reminds me of Richard Grandin, who had Street Fight Secrets.
Yes.
And you can't, marketing wise, you can't go wrong with a name like Street Fight Secrets. But how did you kind of come up with the branding for that business, for that channel, and what was kind of the whole idea behind it?
So initially, I wanted to put together a combatives DVD, and I really wasn't thinking about doing it as a business or anything like that. But I just always loved, combatives. So I was thinking about it, and I always liked gutter fighting, Fairburn type stuff, old school. And that's kind of what I was going for, but it wasn't gutter fighting. I mean, it wasn't Fairburn's techniques or anything, but it was similar. Chin jab, kick him in the groin, nasty type stuff. So I was thinking about catchy titles in my head, and I just kind of said, gutter fighting secrets, gutter fighting secrets, perfect. So I put that out, and it was kind of some Fairburn stuff, but it was also, classic boxing, that type of thing. And I just kind of went on with my life. A couple of years went by. Then I started the YouTube channel, and I was thinking about it. I was like, I've already got the Gutter Fighting Secrets DVD. Let's call it Gutter Fighting Secrets. And I'll advertise the DVD a little bit. Maybe I'll put another DVD out there. And so that was kind of it. It wasn't like I was really doing a whole lot with the World War II combatives. But after my YouTube channel started growing a little bit, I realized, the name of this gosh damn thing is gutter fighting. I should really learn a lot more about it. So I ended up getting in touch with a guy named Bill Wolf, and he teaches Wolf combatives over in Canada.
He's a Canadian guy, yeah.
Yeah. And so I ended up going to a couple of his battle schools, which were 5 days long, intensive, military combatives and everything. And Bill is one of the kind of the last lineages of old Fairburn stuff. He learned from a guy who learned from, I think it was Pat O'Neill, and I think Pat was, kind of unbroken lineage to Fairburn. So I was able to kind of educate myself. I mean, obviously I've read the books, Get Tough, All In Fighting, things like that. But through talking to Bill, he was saying, people read that and they think that's the end-all be-all, but it's really not. There was so much more that he was teaching, and so much more importantly that he had studied judo, another number of other Asian martial arts that he incorporated, wrestling even, that it wasn't, simply the Get Tough. So guys will read those books and think, well, now I'm a Fairburn instructor, but it's not actually that simple. So I'm the type of guy, I like to be educated about what I talk about. I try not to ever touch on things that I don't either have personal experience with or have researched extensively. And so that's why I went over and did the whole Bill Wolf thing. After that, I came back. I put a couple of videos out about gutter fighting and World War II combatives, and those have actually done fairly well on YouTube. Guys like to watch it. So that's kind of where I have been with gutter fighting. That's where I was actually supposed to go over this coming month in May and train with Bill again. I try to go at least once a year and refresh myself with his material. I keep harping on him to run an instructor's course. I know he has done that in the past. It's 2 weeks and you beat the crap out of each other and da-da-da. But, not a lot of guys honestly want to go for 2 weeks and, get smoked and beat the crap out of each other, walk away with broken noses, bloody. So it's tough to get him to do that. But I have been talking with him, and he will certify me eventually when he's got enough guys. But for now, I'm just kind of trying to push out content that I think is going to help people. It sounds cliche. I do like to help people, but more importantly, I really love this stuff. So while the pandemic's going on, I'm trying to push out content like, how to put on your gloves properly, how to don a mask in the right way. Not only because people need to know it to stay safe out there, but there's a lot of misinformation as well. So I don't want to see people get hurt. And unfortunately, with the consequences of this virus going around, you could get sick and that could be it, but you could also go on a ventilator and die. So it's kind of a crapshoot of what's going to happen at this point. So I want people to be staying safe out there, which is kind of the whole purpose of what I'm doing with the social media platforms.
It's such a small world when we talk about Bill Wolf. I've never met him, but if you go back to episode 8 of this podcast, there was Dave Ayton. He's a Scottish guy who's in the British military, and he hosted me when I went over to London. And prior to me, he hosted Bill and Ashley Wolf that came over there and helped them kind of set up shop over there in the UK. But you're right that not only is it tough for someone to go over and get the shit beat out of them for 2 weeks in an instructor course, but I was talking with Randy King yesterday on the podcast, just talking about for most of us, this is like you're a firefighter, I work in security, and then we do this kind of thing on the side. It's our side hustle. And the dream is, let's make this a full-time gig so I can just basically immerse in what I love, et cetera, et cetera. But most people do have kind of a full-time gig, so it's hard to take like a 2-week block of time off period from a full-time job to go to a course of any sort. So, I mean, kudos to anybody that makes that commitment, but it definitely is a struggle. I try to find ways of making it more accessible. So, for example, now it's different if you're traveling, and if you're traveling in from another country or something like that, then 2 weeks straight is kind of the way to go. For the one that I did, I only ran one instructor's course so far under the Kennedy Tactical Concepts banner, and it's a 100-hour course, but I did it in weekend blocks, so like 1 weekend a month over the course of basically like 6 months. So I made it easier for people with full-time gigs. But then again, all the guys that came were local, so it's not like they have to fly in 6 times, But
and I think that's really smart, is making it weekend courses at a time, and it's so appreciated, I think, by everyone, because like you were saying, like I take my vacation time and I go out there, and instead of sitting on a beach somewhere, I'm getting punched in the face. So it's like, give or take, right?
That's almost as nice.
Right, yeah, exactly.